देश में स्ट्रॉन्ग 5G इकोसिस्टम ने
इंडिया में ना 5G फोन्स मिले जा रहे हैं, सब यूज किए जा रहे हैं, बट 5G का नामो निशान तक नहीं है।
5G could be a reality in India soon as the government has given its final approval.
5G technology in particular can enable growth and offer job opportunities.
Rollout of 5G should be India's national pride.
5G is going to have a massive impact on people's lives.
For businesses, the network's increased capacity has the ability to help operations at all stages of the supply chain.
What will it mean for you and me and for every other data mobile user in this country?
Hi everyone. In 2019, the very first 5G network was rolled out in the parts of Chicago and Minneapolis, and the world has been witnessing the advent of the technology since then. As of last year, 58 countries already have access to 5G technology, with most of US, Europe and China at the forefront. In fact, China has 5G already in more than 350 cities and the US in more than 300 cities. Even the economic crisis-stricken Sri Lanka also has 5G now. So why is that India, a nation which has so much to offer to the world in terms of technology, being so late to the 5G party? India's 5G absence cannot be ascertained to any one specific reason. Instead, it is a accumulation of 1. The omnipresent reason to all the issues now, COVID. 2. Domestic and international political hiccups. 3. Stumbling and lagging telecom sector votes. 4. Laxing and telling decision processes. In spite of all these excuses and hurdles, India is in the process of rolling out 5G this year, and the auction for the 5G airwaves is taking place next month, July. But these auctions have brought two major issues along, which have been creating quite a lot of waves and controversy. So let's discuss these in detail, shall we? The first major issue deals with the high reserve prices set by the government for the spectrum at auction. So before going further in details, let's define what are reserve prices. Simply put, reserve price is the minimum price at which the seller is willing to sell the item. So in an auction, if the bids placed against these reserve prices fall lower than the minimum value, then it's up to the seller to either scrap the auction or lower down the reserve price. Now, government conducted a 4G spectrum auction in 2021, in which more than 2 lakh crores of spectrum was left unsold due to high reserve prices. And only the big players such as Reliance, Bharti Airtel and Vodafone were able to bag the higher frequency spectrum. So on the Telecom Regulatory Authority's request, the government has reduced the prices this time around, learning from mistakes, I guess. Though the telecom operators are not happy even with these lower reserve prices, as they had presented a demand for 90% reduction in the prices. Bargaining like a true Indian, I would say at both ends, with the government sending the message of na aapka na mera, chalo 40% less mein done karte hain. The second major issue at hand is even more disturbing and haunting for the telecom operators, since this brings the bold move from the government's end of providing spectrum to captive private enterprises as well this time around. Definition time. So what is a private captive network being allotted to enterprises? It is just a private network like we have at our homes, but the only difference being that it belongs to and for the usage of the organization buying the spectrum for it. Now, the most controversial aspect of all this captive private thing is that the telecom providers like Airtel, Reliance, Vodafone are totally against this move, following some major reasoning being presented to the Telecom Regulatory Authority and the government. First, telcos say that the enterprises form the biggest users of 5G networks, and providing on private networks to these companies will totally scrap off the business opportunity case for them. Second, the prices at which the telcos will be purchasing the spectrum, coupled with the reduced market share of just the retail consumers to provide services, won't cut profits for them. The interesting part is that if we look at government's reply to this, it actually makes a lot of compelling arguments and reasonings. Firstly, the government believes allowing captive private networks will elevate the digital domain even further and usher in a new wave of innovations in Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and Industry 4.0 applications domains. Secondly, this will provide more flexibility to the enterprises to develop their networks according to their own distinctive use and make use of global vendors for the hardware requirements with varied choices and price points, thus eradicating the dependency on the telecom operators. For example, AWS Private 5G already offers 5G managed services, which are easy to deploy, operate, and scale up private networks. Thirdly, as the private networks will start rolling out and get established for enterprises, this will in turn create employment opportunities on large scales for the maintenance, deployment, sales, services, and other aspects pertaining to the networks. And fourth, India will join leading developed nations such as Germany, UK, France, Italy, US, South Korea, Japan, and others in the assignment of 5G for captive private usage, thus creating a global standard in the country which will further help in more technological interchanges. To address the issue of disturbing cross-sell calls of personal loans and credit card, which the average Indian has been facing all throughout the 3G and 4G phase, 5G is going to provide the awesome soul-saving feature of KYC identity of a caller to be displayed when someone calls. I'm sure personal loan and credit card companies are cursing the incoming 5G network right now. I think the mindful Indian would surely be delighted at the rollout of this long-awaited technology in the country and will boost the captive private technological space. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope we get to witness the blazing fast 5G speeds in our hands before the end of the year. That's it for the episode today. If you like the content, do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all in the next episode. Mindfulness signing off.